Sweet. Okay, so this is a video more for me than for people that watch these videos because, this whole experiment was about me keeping a thought process slash video diary journal thing for myself about what I'm going through as I'm doing masters. As you can see, I have changed my shirt. If you are watching this and you watched my previous video, I changed into my blue shirt so I don't look so pasty. It smells a little bit funny because I wore it out, but whatevs. It doesn't really match my shorts, but you can't see my shorts, so I'm cool with it. Whatever. Anyway, so I've done up another 1,000 words or so in my lit review, and it's taking shape. There's lots of pages now. There's a really well listed reference sheet, so I'm a little bit excited by that, but I'm a little bit scared that I am like Mr. Tangent Man at the moment. I know I work so hard on this section of my dissertation, and it's not bad. Like, it is bad thinking about it. Like, it's quite a convoluted argument, and it's sort of crisscrossing all over the place, and I'm not like, boom, there's information, boom, there's information. I thought when I was doing it, I was doing that, but when I reflected on my work, I haven't read it, but when I just thought about it, it was a bit all over the shop. But my ideas are taking like a really solid firm, a firm spot in my head. Yeah, it's there. It's right there, and it's all I can think about right now. So basically, I've got to a point where, as much as I really, really hate to say this out loud, I'm looking at Adorno for Undie Girl. Why? Why do we have Adorno? You're the only person I know right now that would feel my pain about this. I don't want to, but some of his work on the culture industry revisited, and about his stuff on music and the halo of free choice, or what he called pseudo-individuation, is really kind of sticking with me about fan cultures. And Adorno and Horkheimer were sort of the start of fan studies, and they sort of came out in the 1930s, 1940s from the Frankfurt School. And they weren't wrong in what they were saying. They're cited, most people cite them as being pessimistic. And so, there's a really interesting analysis I've read recently where it's sort of argued that everything in fan studies has been trying to undermine the work of Adorno and Horkheimer. And that everything that's come after has just been like, we're not that pessimistic. Fans aren't that sad and pathetic. We're going to show you what fans can do. And I'm kind of looking at the current world of fandom and the mainstream of fandom through social media in some regards. My dissertation sort of oscillates around that area. And I'm looking at the mainstream of fandom and I'm like, really? Have we come that far, or have we gone full circle? Because I'm kind of seeing a lot of what Adorno says being played out through social media and stuff. So I'm fingers crossed going to be proving that. So I'm kind of looking at Henry Jenkins as well, who is about participatory culture and convergence culture. And what I knew of Henry Jenkins, I completely I wanted to agree with him. I really like Henry Jenkins. I want you to be right. I really do. I just think you are too much of a fan and not a scholar. And Henry Jenkins, he has said this about himself. It's not just me. He said it. A lot of people recognize that he said it. He coined the term acafan, which is the academic fan. And he kind of wants to imbue fan communities with all this power and all this access to information, and that they are in control of the information, not the networks. But it doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't. So, I read his work, but then a lot of the stuff he was writing was in 1992 to 96, sort of around that area there. I mean, his big stuff started in 92. But then he came back to it in 2007 and second-guessed himself. And after working on my dissertation for a good 6 or 7 hours, I came across his 2007 work, and then I realized I've actually read this, but I didn't really intake all of it. So I've read some critiques that have sort of cited Jenkins and his 2007 work. So now I'm going to go reread that because I'm a bit like, oh, maybe I'm getting Jenkins wrong. So basically, my question is straddling the line between Adorno and Jenkins, because I kind of feel that that's sort of like we're at this point where everyone's saying fans have power, but I'm sitting there going, they have the idea of power. That doesn't necessarily mean they have power. So it's going to be interesting, especially looking at Adorno. There's not a lot about Adorno on the internet. Like, there's plenty on the internet. Welcome to the internet. There is Adorno aplenty, but there's not much academic writing about applying Adorno to the internet. So that's been fun to try and come across. The only one I did was like, was just a quick reference. Adorno, so-and-so Hussein, Huyssen. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But anyway, his work on mimetic theory stemmed from the work of Adorno, was pretty much all I got. But mimetic theory and the mimetic chasm, or mimetic gap, is exciting. And yay for that, because that's going to help me out my thesis a bit. I'm glad I stumbled onto that. But yeah, the other problem is my writing style is just like hectic. Really hectic. I'm like, let's talk about Adorno, and then we forgot about Jenkins. Now we're going to go back to Adorno, and then we're going to go back to Jenkins. Now we're going to make some convoluted argument that's not really going to make sense, but I know what it says, and that's not really good. So that's how my voice sounds in my head, FYI, when I'm sitting at the computer writing away and then I decide to read back over something. That's the voice that goes through my head. No, it's a bit chops and changes. It's not really interlinking. I need to go back and restructure it. So I'm like, Adorno, bang, bang, bang. These are the theories I'm citing. This is why I think it works out. This is what I think is still relevant. And then Jenkins, bang, bang, bang. The arguments for and against, and then start looking at where their work has gone or where it's come from. Do a bit of there's a really good analysis of the history of fan studies, which I kind of need to incorporate in there. I feel like there should be something about the history of fan studies, because my big issue with fan studies, I realized when I was working on this yesterday, is that everything's set up as a false dichotomy. You're either a fan or you're not a fan. There's no in-between area. But then what is a fan? Or how do we justify fandom in fan studies? It's really kind of weird. Or there's the fan versus the consumer. Then another one from, I forgot, it's some weird university they had a massive book, like 950 pages long, about pedagogy and curriculums and things like that. But there was this really interesting stuff that was linked into Jenkins. But they create the dichotomy of the true fan and the false fan. And the false fan is the one that says that they're a fan. Yeah, the one that participates in forums and gets really attached to stuff and, goes online and goes into these debates. They're not really a fan. They're the false fan. The true fan is the one that doesn't do that. I know dichotomies are really interesting. So, you got fans versus non-fans, true fans versus false fans, online fans versus, why can't we just have a spectrum of fandom? There's the fans that participate in fan fiction versus the fans that only watch TV. They don't participate. And what is participation? Is it enough just to click the share button on Facebook and disseminate the information, or do you have to create the information? Where do we draw the lines here? That's why I have a huge issue with the terms activity and active when it comes to fandom. These things were coined by Jenkins in 1992, and yeah, fair call. Like back then, there was no internet, or it was only just starting up. It wasn't really a big thing, but the fan activities were hugely more important. They happened on weekends, or they happened in isolation or in privacy. And it was a lot more involved. Like people were having to go and source information or collate information and produce something to be sent out to other fans. And now we're just like, it's on the internet, and if you've got good friendship networks on Facebook, which are full of fans of things that you like, you don't even have to do research anymore. It just pops up in your newsfeed. So, it's what used to be an activity of like, I'm going to go out and find this magazine to read this article about this TV show, is now it's on Facebook. Click. Ooh, maybe I can tie in slacktivism. Like, maybe, yeah. Should look up some academic work on slacktivism, because that's kind of along a similar vein. Like, are we really activists just by clicking the like button? So, yeah, it's been an interesting week, research-wise. I was going to do some reading tonight, but it's already 10:15, and I still have to wash clothes and clean up a bit. Like, I always clean up before the weekend, and then the weekend happens and my room is a pigsty. So I really hate it. Like, right now I can see the dressing that I made for my salad last night slowly working its way down the plate, getting towards the floor. That's a shame, because it was really nice dressing too. I made it from scratch. Oh, and other fun news, I might be going dumpster diving tomorrow. So yay, dumpster diving. I've never done it before. I'm really kind of excited by this. I'm going to go buy gloves tomorrow. But yay, hopefully. So I'm hoping to hear from Fox very soon, because we're going dumpster diving. But yeah, that's it from me, really. Adorno, I hate you, but you're worthwhile a read. And Jenkins, I wish I could respect you, but you're a bit naive. I find you naive. I find everything about you naive. And I really love what you write about, because it's fun, and I can see where you're coming from, and it's just... we'll see what happens. Hey, I hope to meet you in real life one day so I can chat to you about why you created the term ACA-fan. Did you not want anyone in fan studies to be taken seriously, ever? I feel really weird now, because, like, I realize that the things that I'm writing about... Let's see... Glee and Heroes. Well, I love Heroes. Glee, I've got them all. I suppose see, that's what's weird. I've got more Glee merchandising than Heroes merchandising, but I'd say I'm a bigger fan of Heroes than I am of Glee. And then Keeping Up with Kardashians. Not a fan. Definitely not a fan. Quanda. Not a fan of Quanda, but a fan of the hashtag for Quanda on Twitter. That's always fun. And Australian Story, I don't think anyone's a fan. That's probably a bit of a problematic statement, but I don't think anyone's a fan. And then Firefly, I'm a little bit of a Firefly fan, just a little. I have a Jane beanie over there. I'm pointing at the moment to my drawer, but I have a Jane beanie, and I have Firefly stuff on my walls, and I have the DVD, and I'm a big Whedon nut, and I'm loving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm not doing that for my thesis. And the other one is My Little Pony. I would not say I'm a fan. I've got a few DVDs. I enjoy it. I've got the documentary. I've got the ring. Well, I've got a ring that's got Rainbow Dash on it. And I've got a toy. Oh, and I've got a weird stationery set with like a stamp thing. So yeah, maybe I'm a fan. Again, more merchandising for My Little Pony than, I suppose. Yeah, I'd say a little bit more merchandising for Firefly than for My Little Pony. I don't know. I think they may be on par, but it's a weird dichotomy of fan versus not fan. Which one is it? I don't know. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, get up early, start writing again, because I'm really in the mood at the moment. Really loving writing, really loving working on this, and I want to get this done. I want to get my lit review, like at least 2 or 3 edits done by the end of October. So I'm going to write this all in one hit, then read and edit, and then read and edit again, and then, yeah, hopefully have something that's polished and looking good that I can show my supervisor by the end of October, which is 14 days and 1 hour and 43 minutes away. I can totally do that. Anyway, that's about it for me. I think I need a better sign off. I think so. Yeah. Have a nice night, guys. I will speak to you all soon, and don't forget to get STI tested. That's really important, and that's a really big thing that's going on up here right now. So if you haven't, get tested. Be sure. Know your results. Love you all.